In 2001, I went to go and live with a man in Leicestershire who I had met through a dating site that happened to be on teletext. At this point, I already had a son that was around 1 year of age, and I uprooted myself and him to go and live with this man. I won't go into all the details of what happened while we were down there, but cut to 2.5 years later, and I discovered that that man had been cheating on me with what had been his best friend's girlfriend. This led to me having a choice as to either go and live in a YMCA in Leicester City Centre or return to Doncaster. So, fortunately for me, his family drove me and all my possessions back up to Doncaster, and I lived for a time in my mum's house. At this time, I decided that I hated men, was off men completely, didn't want anything to do with men because I was feeling hurt by having been cheated on and feeling really stupid that I didn't realise that he had been cheating on me, and probably for some time. This led me to deciding at the time that I was only into girls, well, not girls, women, and that I was a lesbian. Cut to, like, at some point in 2004 when I found a group that we named League, which was supposed to sound French. It stood for lesbian, bisexual, questioning, which I came up with. I don't know why, but there was a number of us of different sexualities in the group, and I had a peer support worker, or like a support worker kind of thing, whose name I won't mention here because some people might know who that person is. But we explored my sexuality and my feelings of hurt, etc., in regards to having been cheated on. I'm not saying that this person is the only person that suggested this to me, but in 2004 we established that I wasn't a lesbian, but I wasn't straight either. I was bisexual, which may be something that I don't necessarily consider myself to be now, but we're always still exploring our sexuality. So, because I'd always felt attracted to women, or obviously girls when I was a girl, and then women as I grew older, but didn't understand why I was feeling this way, and have mainly had relationships with men. I've like delved a little bit into the doing things with females, but I've mainly had relationships with men. Obviously, having explained to both my parents at the time, having already had a child, but then being hurt by this man cheating on me, that I was a lesbian, cut to a couple of years later, and I had to explain to my dad in 2006 that not only was I not a lesbian, I was bisexual, but also that I was pregnant with his second grandchild. At this point, I was let down again by yet another male in my life when he decided that this was the point that he was going to disown me. I already had long-standing mental health issues with my depression and anxiety, and I already had a child out of wedlock and a number of other things. So at this point, having already established that he didn't really want to have a daughter in the first place via 2 different letters that he'd sent to me, he then completely decided to disown me. At this point, I now do not have a dad. So my sole parent is my mum, who does not necessarily understand my sexuality, my mental health, and me having had children with men that didn't turn out to be any better than the man who cheated on me, to be honest. So this now made me to be a parent of 2 children out of wedlock. We're not going to go into too much detail. With my youngest child, my eldest child having already been placed in the care of other people, I was sent to a mum and baby unit, where I was monitored. Initially it was meant to be for just 4 to 6 weeks, but ended up being 4 months from August 2016 to December 2016. Throughout this entire time I've maintained that in my sexuality is I am interested in both male and female. Predominantly I've been interested in male because I've had relationships with men and not had a girlfriend or anything like that. The debate is whether or not I am actually bisexual, because I've mainly had relationships with men and have had 2 children with 2 different men, but I am still somewhat interested in both. I may possibly now identify myself more as pansexual. I actually don't really have any sexual desire, but I don't know whether or not I consider myself to be asexual, because I would have to get a better grasp as to what things like pansexual and asexual. I am somewhat romantic, so I couldn't say that I was aromantic. The idea of sex doesn't really repulse me, it's just I have no interest in it whatsoever. I've never found it particularly exciting. I've never found watching anything pornographic particularly exciting, or anything like that. I have mentioned previously in a video some time ago that I may or may not have a condition called anorgasmia. Anorgasmia is something that when you're supposed to experience pleasure at the point of climax, you can experience pain, which can be very severe pain, which can have you doubled up in agony, which may be the reason why I have very little interest in sex. This video is not the video that I have asked people if they want, isn't any of the videos that I've asked people if they want me to do a video on. This is mainly just an update of my journey through my sexuality, etc., from thinking that there was something wrong with me and I was a straight person, but just experiencing typical teenage things like being attracted, finding another female attractive, etc., to where I am now with still exploring my sexuality. I will be 38 in August, and at this point, though I have identified as bisexual, I could also identify as pansexual, being as my thing that I said the other day was I am more interested in a person's personality. Their gender doesn't really mean anything to me. They can be transitioning male to female, transitioning male to female, transitioning female to male. They could be non-binary. They could be any. Really, because it's their personality that attracts me rather than their physical appearance, etc. So I don't know whether or not that means I've got a grasp as to what pansexuality is, etc. But I just wanted to do this video as a little bit of an extra instead of the things that I've been asking on Twitter. I mean, if you are on my Twitter is at EzzieBumblebee, EZZIE BUMBLEBEE, and if you'd like to partake in any of the polls, they're still going. I usually set them for about 7 days, so you all have a chance to answer what you'd like to see a video on. But this is just a video about my journey through my sexuality. I know I've done this before, but I've never gone into specifics about things that could be personally hurtful to me, like not having my dad anymore, etc. So thank you very much for watching this kind of chatty video. I will be doing either 37 or 38 things about me, so if you have anything that you're interested in that I haven't discussed here, you could probably ask on one of the polls, or on just send me a tweet, or message me on Facebook. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I was currently around about 77 subscribers. Please comment in the comment section about your journey, etc., through your sexuality. And just share on social media so that other people can see that there are people like me out here that are still exploring, that have been through things that have basically helped to form the kind of person that they are. Thank you. Bye bye.